This is simply unbelievable. To provide Pakistanis with comfortable and durable sandals, this handmade shoe factory in Pakistan started using dismantled old tire rubber to make affordable, high-quality leather sandals. The rubber from old tires in front of us is the raw material used to make the sandals. Workers use a cutting knife to cut the rubber into the shape of the sole. Once the rubber is cut, to make the sandals more comfortable to wear, the workers also use scissors to cut out the right size insole from the foamed rubber. Then, they carefully brush glue on the sole and firmly stick the insole to the sole. Next, after cutting out the right size of leather material with scissors, glue is applied patiently to both the leather and the insole. Then, the leather is pressed along the edge of the insole to adhere to the sole. At the same time, a wooden stick is used to press the leather so that it adheres more tightly while also showing the anti-slip texture of the insole's bumps. Next, use scissors to cut away any excess edges along the sole's perimeter. Next, we need to make the sandal heel. The worker cuts a piece of tire rubber. Then, at a certain angle, splits the rubber into two pieces. After applying glue to the cut rubber in the sole, the rubber is pressed against the heel of the sole. Then, the excess rubber is trimmed away along the sole's edge with a cutting knife. This creates a more comfortable slope for the heel. Next, after applying glue along the edge of the sole, a long strip of leather is glued along the edge of the sole to enhance the appearance of the sole. Next, an old sewing machine is used to sew the sole, making the material fit more tightly and securely. For the thicker heel, manual sewing is required. From the quality of the stitching, it's hard to tell any difference from the machine stitching. Then, excess edging leather is cut off with a cutting knife to create a more coordinated and aesthetically pleasing sole. To make the sole more durable, the worker uses a cutting knife again to cut the right size rubber. Then, after applying glue to both the rubber and the sole, the two are pressed together and hammered tightly to ensure a secure bond. Next, the excess rubber is trimmed away with the cutting knife, and a groove tool is used along the rubber's edge to create grooves for future stitching. A pattern is then carved into the sole at a certain angle, making it both aesthetically pleasing and functional with anti-slip features. Next, it's time to make the sandal upper. The worker draws the marking lines for the upper's stitching on the leather, then uses a cutting knife to cut out each section. The edges are polished and then rolled. The upper material is then glued together with the back panel. Again, the sewing machine is used to stitch along the edge of the leather to create fine seams. Next, the upper is assembled. The worker applies glue to both the upper and the sole, then sticks the upper onto the edge of the sole stitching, and uses stitches to firmly attach the upper to the sole. This creates a very secure overall structure. Then, the back strap is fixed with a buckle to prevent the shoe from deforming. Next, holes for adjusting the strap length are made in the back strap, and after adding a shoe ring inside, the entire shape of the sandal is carefully adjusted. Finally, the rubber on the sole is carefully polished with a grinding wheel. At this point, this affordable yet high-quality leather sandal is complete. So, after watching the entire process, what do you think of these sandals made this way?